Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Grace, a bright, ambitious student at the university. She had everything she thought she ever wanted, a promising future, a loving relationship with Robert, and the world at her feet. They had met during their second year in university, and from that moment, they were inseparable. They were more than just a couple, they were best friends, confidants, and partners. They went through life's ups and downs together, navigating university stress, late-night study sessions, and the occasional argument. Yet, every time they had a disagreement, they always found their way back to each other, their bond growing stronger with every resolution. It was a love story that felt as though it was destined to last forever. Robert would always reassure her with promises, "I'll never leave you, Grace. We'll always be together, no matter what." But life, as it often does, threw a curveball. Robert's parents, seeing his potential, helped him secure a scholarship to study abroad. "I'll be back for you, Grace. Don't forget me," he promised as he left for a new chapter in his life. She watched as he boarded that flight, her heart heavy with the weight of his absence but full of hope for their future. At first, the distance wasn't hard to manage. They spoke every day, text, calls, and video chats kept their love alive across the miles. But slowly, the calls became fewer. The messages were left unread, and whenever Grace reached out, she could see that he was online but not replying. "Why is he doing this?" she thought to herself. The frustration built up, but she kept holding on to the promise he made. She believed in their love, and she believed that the distance was just temporary. One day, Grace met Alex, a successful, charming man who treated her like a queen. He was different from Robert in every way, yet there was something magnetic about him. Alex showered her with love and attention, made her laugh, and made her feel special in a way she hadn't felt in months. Slowly, her heart began to shift. 2 months later, Alex proposed to her. It was fast, unexpected, but Alex seemed like everything Grace had been yearning for: stable, reliable, and loving. They had a traditional marriage, and Grace moved into Alex's home. Life with Alex was peaceful, comforting, and full of the things she thought she needed to feel complete. Soon after their marriage, they were blessed with 2 beautiful children, a son and a daughter. Grace couldn't have been happier. She was a mother now, and everything seemed perfect in her new life. Alex was a wonderful husband, a loving father, and a provider. He made sure she never had to work, wanting to give her a life of comfort and ease. For 3 years, things were blissful. But then, the unexpected happened. Robert returned from abroad. He managed to track her down through a mutual friend and tried to reconnect. "Grace, I've made mistakes, but I never stopped loving you. I was lost, but I want us to be together again," he pleaded. "I'm sorry for everything." Grace was stunned. She never expected this. She thought of all the times they had together, the promises he made, the moments that made her fall in love with him. And suddenly, Grace was torn between the man who had been her first love and the man who had given her everything she thought she wanted in life. Alex had been everything she needed, but Robert was the one she had always loved. She couldn't ignore the pull she felt for him, the memories they shared, and the undeniable chemistry they had. After weeks of internal struggle, Grace decided to leave Alex. She packed her bags, left her comfortable life behind, and went to stay with Robert. It felt like a reunion of sorts, but soon, the illusion of happiness shattered. After traveling to America together, they were both full of excitement for their new life. The first week was perfect. He treated her like a queen. He was attentive, loving, and showed her the world in ways she'd never experienced. They went on dates, explored new places, and had deep conversations that made her feel like they were finally living the dream. But soon after the initial excitement wore off, things started to change. The warmth and attention she once received began to fade. She started noticing subtle shifts in his behavior. He was no longer as present or affectionate. He became distant, often out late with friends, leaving her wondering what went wrong. She didn't want to admit it, but a part of her knew that the honeymoon phase was over. The once loving relationship she had with Robert was now a toxic mess. Robert isolated her from the world, manipulated her, and began to mistreat her. He belittled her, controlled her every move, and made her feel small. Grace was emotionally drained, constantly walking on eggshells, unsure of what would trigger his next outburst. After a particularly brutal altercation, Grace decided she couldn't take it anymore. She packed her things in secret and fled back to Nigeria, broken and heartbroken. Back in Nigeria, her family welcomed her with open arms, shocked at what she had endured. But now, after all the pain, Grace was left with a heavy heart, wondering if she could ever go back to the life she once had with Alex, but the questions remained. Would Alex ever take her back? Would he forgive her? Or had she lost him forever? Subscribe, like and share.